Good morning, you guys. Today I want to talk about the G87 as an F87 owner. I'd say there's a few things that I think the F87 does better. I don't know if these are really deal breakers. I've driven a couple G87s and I was really impressed with them. They're incredibly capable cars, but these are some things that I think could use some improvement on the G87. The first thing would be that the G87 sort of rounded the edges of the M2, and not so much in design, it's very blocky, but more so in driving dynamics. The F87 is a very scrappy, spicy car, and you can lose it pretty easily. You can lose the rear end, and that's a lot of what the fun of this car is. It just feels very playful. You know, the G87 has a much longer wheelbase to it. It weighs a lot more, and as a result, the G87 feels a lot more stable, which is good from a performance standpoint. You can put your power down a lot easier, but I think it takes away a lot of the fun factor that this car has. The second thing that's a downgrade, in my opinion, on the G87s compared to the F87s, at least the OG, is sound. I have never liked the sound of an S55. I've never liked the sound of an S58. The M twin turbo engines a lot of times just sound like a raspy tin can, and I can't wrap my head around it. I've heard a couple decent sounding ones, but I don't know, these N55s sound so good. I will say that while driving the G87, I didn't have any complaints about it, but if you're outside the car or hearing one pass by, not a fan. The third thing for the G87 is that rear end design. I can't love it. I've tried, I can't love it. I really like the front end. I like the overall design. I think the G87s can look really good, but they need a lot of massaging in the looks department. They definitely need a front lip. The front bumper looks pretty unfinished in my opinion, but something about the rear end, specifically those taillights, looks pretty off. And I don't know if you guys have seen these videos where these guys are putting tape on the rear end of a G87 and it completely changes the look of the car. Kind of looks closer to an M4 in terms of style, and I think it looks a lot better. I don't know if this is the perfect design, but I think it's a huge upgrade in terms of how this car looks. That video that you just watched is from the designer at Adro, and they make kits for BMWs if you're not familiar with them. Definitely check them out. I'll have a link for them in the description. And they did make a kit for the G87, but as far as I've seen, they haven't come out with anything for the taillights, and I'm sure there's a reason for that. Maybe it's still in development, or maybe they decided to go against it because it would be too much work or maybe too expensive. Realistically, if you're putting taillights on a trunk lid that didn't initially have taillights from the factory, you're going to need a different trunk lid. You're going to need, obviously, inner taillights. You're going to need some sort of wiring to go along with that, and I'm not sure if this is something that Adro has ever done. So maybe they are still in development, but as far as I've seen, no one has made this a reality yet, and I would really like to see this become a reality. If someone did make this change to the G87 rear end, I definitely would consider one a lot more. I spec'd one out a few weeks ago with the new updates that they made. They added some gorgeous colors. I'm loving the purple that they have. Forgot the name of it, but I can put it on screen now and show you my spec as well. So regardless if Adro comes out with this kit or not, I want to see it on the G87s, especially if I'm considering getting one in the future. So maybe I'll have to take matters into my own hands if no one comes out with a solution here. Yes, you could do just sort of a plastic cover to go over your trunk lid there, and I think that would be a good low-cost option, but at the end of the day, this is like a $70,000 car. I think a little stick-on part could look a little cheap, and make the car itself look cheap. Now, in terms of bringing this to life, I do have a 3D printer. I don't have a ton of 3D design experience, but I'm sure that's something I could pick up along the way. Not saying it would be easy, but I think I might be able to figure something out to get a rough mock-up to see how it would look like. And in addition to that, my dad is also an auto body tech, and a damn good one at that. He hasn't agreed to help me with this one yet, but I really think that he would be excited to help me with this. And I do have some bodywork experience. The 335 that you see on my channel, bought that one wrecked and fixed it up along with the help of my dad. Let me know in the comments what you think of the rear end of the G87. It's definitely really polarizing. Some people say it's fine, they like it the way it is. Other people say that's the reason I didn't buy the car. I don't think it would prevent me from buying a G87, but it is something that I think definitely could be improved on and will change a lot about the car. Now, in terms of making this happen, I would still need to buy a G87. I have my F87, which I own outright, as well as my E36. I have some other priorities in terms of my finances right now, but I wouldn't say that this is not something that I won't do in the future. This is something that I really want to see come to life. I love my M2. I love the way the G87 drove, and I feel like the M2 really is now what the M3 used to be. And I'm a huge fan of E36s, E46s, E92s. And I feel like BMW has changed a lot and gone away from that. The G80s are incredibly capable cars, but they just lack a little bit of the fun factor with that shorter wheelbase that they used to have. That's where my head's at on this. I would love to see this become a reality, and I'm a firm believer in the fact that if you want something and it's not offered, that you should just go do it yourself. I'd say another thing I plan on doing is a set of custom side skirts for my F87, or side skirt extensions. A lot of the options that are out there, they're either just a completely flat piece that goes across, or you have your OEM ones, which are sort of like just a fin at the back. And then they also have flat ones that have a bit of it looks like a wave in it. And I'm not a fan of any of those options. I have the CS style splitter on the front, which does have those little fins on the side. So I would like to see something that's flat all the way across and then also integrates that little fin like the OEM one just on the back side. And I haven't seen anyone that offers that yet. So I think I might order a couple different side skirt extensions, put them together, do a little body work on it, and turn it into one piece. I think that would look really sleek and tie in with the car well. Another thing I'm not crazy about in terms of what's offered on the F87 market is the rear diffusers. They add some pieces onto the side of the bumper, and I think a lot of times they can look very blocky compared to the rest of the car, and they don't really fit in. I don't have a solution for that in mind yet, but definitely something that I'm thinking about doing in the future. So if you want to stay up to date on those projects, me making some custom side skirts for my F87, as well as possibly fixing the G87's rear end, make sure to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, drop me a like. Really helps out the channel. And that's all I got for you guys today. What's up, you guys? It's Future Sweens here. Apologies for the delay on the video. Someone decided to chew on my SD card, and that delayed this video a bit. But you'll never guess what happened. I was scrolling on TikTok the other day, and I got an ad for someone who's actually making these taillights happen. Let me show you right now. So as you can see, they actually used my video in their ad to sell these taillight extensions that they're making. And let's take a look at the website to see how it is. Okay, they're using a couple renders from Assetto Corsa, I think, and another render, and another render. Oh, we got an actual picture here, but it's taken at night where you can't see the product at all. Is that still tape? I couldn't believe my eyes when that came across my feed the other day. And I was actually excited because I want to see this happen, whether it's me that's doing it, whether it's Adro that does it, whether it's someone else that does it. I just want to see this happen.